Hey guys, in this show, I want to talk about the importance of knowing when to hold them and fold them when dealing with a toxic relationship and the political bias of the Republicans. Stay tuned. Hey guys, I am Twaun X, and this is the Double Take Podcast. On today's show, I will speak about the importance of knowing when to walk away, inspired by the unaliving of the rapper Trump. Now, before I get to that subject, I wanted to show you guys a couple of clips that caught my attention as I noticed a bias. And I want to see if you guys come to that same conclusion. So I will begin with my first clip uh, about the Teslas that are being burned around nationwide, they say, but it looks like it's kind of confined more to the West Coast, but there are attacks everywhere, as it does appear to be some form of mild warfare. And that is not my main subject. I wanted to point out something within the subject of that clip to you guys to see if you see the same thing that I did, right? And here is that clip right here.
Samantha Cortese joins us live with more on the wave of vandalism in protests of Elon Musk and his role in Washington. Sam? Hi, Sharon Micah. The ATF and FBI are collaborating with federal, state, and local law enforcement to investigate acts of domestic terrorism surrounding Teslas. Teslas are being torched across the country, dealerships shot up and set on fire. It's spray paint to vandalize and make a statement. People in Southern California are getting notes on their Teslas, calling them complicit Nazis for owning electric cars.
Let's figure out other ways of, you know, dealing with it.
People are protesting Elon Musk's role within President Trump's White House, leading the Department of Government Efficiency's cuts to federal spending.
We think it's despicable what is happening to not just this American company, but also their innocent employees. And again, innocent Americans who drive these vehicles. We condemn it wholeheartedly.
Website DogeQuest is doxing alleged Tesla owners all over Los Angeles, Orange, and San Bernardino counties. Creators claim they will delete people's information once they prove they've sold their Tesla. Attorney General Pam Bondi called Tesla vandalism domestic terrorism. Retired FBI agent Ken Gray agrees.
Individuals who are owning Teslas through this Doge Quest may find their property being destroyed or at least damaged by people that for political purposes. So this really is domestic terrorism.
Former vice presidential candidate and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is taking some heat over this reaction to the American car company's stock dropping.
They've got that little stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping.
Tesla stock closed at 235 today, perhaps a boost from the California Public Utilities Commission, which granted the company a permit to transport passengers, the first step toward a rideshare service. Tesla says it will initially use the permit to transport Tesla employees. As far as arrests go, police in San Jose arrested one man for keying a Tesla in a Costco parking lot. That suspect is being charged with felony vandalism. In the newsroom, Samantha Cortese, Sharon Micah, and Vera.
That I really cared about, guys, was the last part. Did you hear about who got arrested? Right? So you have people shooting up Teslas, you have people burning them, and you skip over all those people and go to the person that keyed a Tesla. This is exactly what I'm talking about. How stupid is that? Right? Out of everybody. I mean, we have satellites in the clouds. I mean, other countries, somebody from another country can look at me shooting my podcast right now. And you mean to tell me you don't know who shooting and burning the Teslas, but you want to give somebody that keyed a Tesla a felony for domestic terrorism? And I feel like that is total bias and BS because now Donald Trump is pardoning all the guys that ran on the Capitol that are his buddies. So, I mean, so that's not domestic terrorism, but somebody damaging a car is. Yeah, you understand, guys? You see where I'm coming from with this? I mean, there's a total bias, whoever's in power, it just seems to corrupt, right? At this point, right? How does the saying go on? Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And man, it is just totally ridiculous. I have another quick scenario of the same sort, kind of, to show you guys before I get to my main topic of the day, and I will show that clip right here.
That South LA crime boss Eugene Big U Henley is now in custody. Authorities say he ran a mafia like organization while masquerading as a music mogul and gang peacemaker. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez spoke to a rapper who worked with him. She joins us live with a story you'll see only on Fox 11. And this story breaking as we speak, Christina.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I am hearing that Big U and the other person they were looking for, Brian Mejia, both turned themselves in. This is developing as we speak. And as we speak, people are coming up and saying, on the one hand, that he did a lot for the community. And then there are those like this woman who say things are not what they seem. Listen to her.
No, I'm not surprised because I've been fighting this fight for a long time.
Rapper Alicia Choi speaks about federal authorities accusing LA rap music executive and community activist Eugene Big U Henley of leveraging his connections with the Rolling 60s Crips to run a criminal enterprise, even funneling funds from his community nonprofits into his criminal operations.
You cannot do evil when the cameras are off and smile and help kids when the cameras are on.
Choi's, who you may have seen in rap videos like this one, says she was a budding artist when she first met him.
I was just a young kid wanting to rap and wanting to live out my dream and working hard. And, you know, he really took advantage of me. I wanted to help bring donations into his nonprofit development options. And with that being said, he just wanted to take over. He wanted to bully me. He wanted to control me. And when I wouldn't allow that, that's when he started jumping on me and beating me, extorting me, threatening people not to work with me. And I was scared for a long time to speak up. I was actually terrified.
And I want to emphasize, these are very serious accusations she is making. And, you know, she says it is her fear, which makes it very difficult to follow up on these things. But she says her fear kept her from going to police. She did not file police reports, but that she did try getting a restraining order at one point. Now, what the feds, and we'll go to his photo again because it's hard to see him as a person that the feds are saying what he did when we are used to seeing him in such a different light. What they're charging him with has nothing to do with what she is accusing him of from. The charges do not include anything of what she's saying, but they do say that part of the investigation involves the murder of another young rapper back in Las Vegas. Back in 2021, I talked to police in Vegas, and they told me over the phone that the murder was over, are you ready for this? A diss. That he had written something in a song supposedly talking bad about Big U. And that is why he ended up getting murdered. That's what the police were telling me. So it's just still developing. There's going to be a lot more to this whole thing. But we can tell you he has turned himself in. And I'm sure a lot of people are waiting to hear what he has to say about this, including us. I'm Christina Gonzalez, live. Hayden Park, back to you guys in the studio.
And Christina, there's a connection to Shaquille O'Neal as well, right?
You know, I have not had time to look into that, and I am so wary of the, because what's happening is a lot of people were seen with him, were putting money into this nonprofit, and now the feds are saying that he took a lot of this money and it did not end up going to help kids. Again, keep in mind, that doesn't mean that kids were not being helped in some capacity by the organizations. The question is where the money went. It's not just Shaq, it's other rappers, other big names that I want to have time to really look into these allegations. Because even with the feds saying it, these are personalities that are well loved in this community, and they need to also have a chance to respond for themselves.
Yeah.
So, stay tuned. We'll let you know as soon as we can confirm more things. But yeah, even Shaquille O'Neal, part of this whole thing. How sad.
Yeah. All right, Christina.
So now, what do you think stood out for me? out of all of that, and I'll go over it very quickly. Um, for me, what stood out was Shaquille O'Neal, honestly. Like, okay, why is that guy trying to put dirt on Shaq? It seems like every other year or so, somebody's trying to throw some dirt on Shaq in one way or not one way or another. And he has had his down moments where he was wrong, but I've pretty much seen him man up for the most part when he was, and he noticed his errors. But that kind of stood out to me like, okay, out of everybody that's guilty here, you always want to find the innocent person and somehow drag them into it. The guy was freaking donating money to to a nonprofit for kids. Now, I mean, he can't help it if somebody was didn't have integrity or didn't do what they were supposed to do for whatever reasons with those funds. But I mean, come on, now, let's leave Shaq out of it. Now, as far as that whole situation, that is a very sticky situation. Big U is a definitely known as a underground boss, and he has a lot of different things going for him. I seen or going against him, I should say. I seen his videos of him whenever he was turning himself in. It seemed like it took him like a week or so because he had different outfits, and it just kept going on and on. But um, basically, he's trying to accuse Whack 100 of snitching on him. Now, I did see a video maybe a couple years back of Whack 100 getting punched by Big U at some like event, like a fair or something that they were having out there in California. But they were old time friends as far as I knew, and I didn't think much of it. Now, Big U is coming back and trying to say that WAC 100 is somehow implicated in him getting locked up, which I mean, that's something for him to say, but this girl is on here saying I mean, she's a witness right there on front of the camera in front of us. So, I mean, I believe that they are saying that WAC 100 is that no jumper guy, Adam, whatever, their words were substantiated or coincided with an actual crime that happened in reality, right? So it's not looking too good for Big U, and they are putting a lot of bad jackets on WAC 100. Some people are. I'm not going to put any jacket on anybody's back until there is complete and proven evidence, right? Now, let's get to the matter at hand. What made me actually want to start this discussion today was I noticed that the rapper Trouble, I was wondering what had happened to him. And just so it happened that it came across my news feed about his murder being convicted. And it was interesting because I didn't really know all of the details at the time. I just knew I liked him and he was on. At this point in time, it appears definitely that being a rapper is probably the most dangerous profession of them all. And it just really doesn't appear to be worth it at this time, guys. So I want to show you guys this clip of his attacker getting sentenced, and then I want to unpack it very quick. And here is that clip right here.
Will spend years behind bars. He pled guilty today as part of a deal with prosecutors.
Investigators say the rapper died in 2022 from a gunshot wound while trying to break up a fight. Fox says Kim Leffler joins us from Rockdale County with more. Kim?
Yeah, jury selection for Jamichael Jones was set to begin today, but instead, court documents show he made a deal with prosecutors to enter that guilty plea. He was also sentenced to 20 years behind bars. Jamichael Jones pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter Friday in the death of Atlanta rapper Trouble. Jones initially faced several charges, including malice and felony murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm and commission of a crime. Those other charges were dropped as part of the plea. Rockdale County Sheriff Eric Levitt spoke with reporters after Jones turned himself in shortly after the shooting in 2022.
Mother turned the son on to one of my sergeants who began to talk to him and convince Mr. Jones to turn himself in. His mother was a huge resource in helping us apprehend him. Nobody wakes up in the morning wanting a bad outcome.
The shooting happened in June of 2022 at the Lake St. James apartment complex in Conyers. Investigators say Jones used to live there and broke up with his girlfriend right before the shooting. That morning, officials say Jones forced his way into her apartment, found Trouble in the woman's bed, and began hitting her. Investigators say when Trouble, whose real name was Muriel Orr, tried to stop the assault, he was shot. Jones later turned himself in.
We've accomplished what we need to accomplish just to get someone off the street for committing a crime such as this.
Jones will receive credit for time he's already served in.
All right, guys. Now I want to unpack that situation. As some, I had a few things hit me when I first watched it, and I see three errors here. Usually, it would probably be two in this situation. As the person is sleeping with would usually, if they had half of a conscious, would probably not even be in that situation, which is what I want to get to. A lot of people don't know when to walk away. You don't know when to hold them and when to fold them, right? I understand you got to keep an ace in the hole, but you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them, guys. And that is just how this situation has ended up here. Now, I want to start with the woman in the situation, because for one, she brought it all together. She brought it all together by she wasn't necessarily just wrong, but she waited too long to separate from that guy that attacked unalived Trump, right? Because it was too close to home, and I'll come back around to that. As for the guy himself who actually did the murder, well, I mean, he had to have seen some signs. I'm sure she had already told him. There, I believe, a lot of levels of disrespect that you get from a person whenever they decide to not be with you, right? And I'm sure that she went through all of those levels, right? And he knew how she felt. In that article is that clip they're saying that he doubled back. So basically, he was getting his stuff out, and he came back, and the door was locked, and then he barged into the house, right? So all of that right there, guys, is a no-no. Ladies, also that is a no-no. When you're gone, you're gone. I mean, you can't keep expecting to play these relationship games because that person may actually just be finished. They may not want to. So, I mean, it would be in your own best interest to get to stepping and not look back. Because sometimes when you look back, you get turned into a pillar of salt, as everyone did in this situation. You understand what I mean? Um, he should have got his things and just kept going and never looked back. And everything that has a beginning has an end, and just going on, lick his wounds, but he would still be free and he would have a clear conscience. Now, as far as Trump, now he made a player mistake. I was always taught that you don't mess with married women, especially conscious. Now, if I got tricked into a situation, well, then I would be able to hopefully explain, and I wouldn't get involved in any type of altercation with that. Anyway, I would feel like I was dated and put in harm's way, right? But I believe Trouble probably knew, as he seems like he was a stomp down type of player guy. And this is where I want you young guys to understand: don't do that. Don't do that, because you don't know how a man will react about basically even though you're not married on paper. In Texas, we have what they call common law marriage. I consider you married. A lot of people don't realize that when you're playing house, you're pretty much playing mom and dad. You're playing marriage. I mean, so well, at least one or two, or maybe both of the people can get feelings as if they're actually attached in that way, regardless of the paperwork. And that guy actually felt an attachment to this woman. Now, Trouble didn't feel any attachment. He thought he was just getting in where he fit in, doing the player thing. Hey, she don't want you no more. Man, she chose me. Now, here's the thing. That's fine and dandy. But I mean, if you really was laced up, you probably should have known that she just got rid of this guy. You should have been going. You should have been probably meeting somewhere public or somewhere safe for you. And then if you're gonna be playing in the jungle, you don't play without your stick. That's another thing right there, because I believe that I mean, we all know we ain't new to it, right? We ain't new to it. When you do stuff like that, you know the chances, or you should know. And that's why I would advise to not even get involved in those situations, especially if a woman is entangled or a man is entangled and they haven't fully gotten out of their situation, because shrapnel does hit innocent bystanders. Now, he did get up to try to protect the woman as the guy came in and seen them two on the bed together and started attacking them. He jumped up, tried to attack him, and the guy shot him, right? So that's how that happened. So the first part of him doing it was player, and I would have to say not really manly to me, because I mean, I like to put myself in other situations, but he did stand up as a man, and unfortunately, it cost him his life, right? So I believe that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's easier to just not even get in those involved in those situations. Understand that just because the fire is gone, doesn't mean that the smoke has cleared all the way, guys. And I have found myself in situations like that where I have been with somebody, and I assumed that someone was in the house with them, and I just wouldn't. I'm not going to even go back. That I mean, and that's me. I mean, what else that's all, folks. I mean, what else do they need to show you? I mean, what you gonna do? You're gonna fight and scream with somebody that doesn't want you. So I mean, it can only escalate to something worse. The best thing to do is just walk away and lick your wounds, and time will heal all. And I really send my condolences out to all of those families. This is a very tragic misfortune, and I really love Trouble. I'm sorry to see him go so prematurely. All right. That is my thoughts on that. Please leave your thoughts and opinions in my comment section. I am Twaun X, and this is the Double Take Podcast. Thanks, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Hey guys, if you like this show as much as I did, please take the time to support me by hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel. Thanks, and I'll talk to you guys soon.